Bad news, but it is what it is. We're kind of all the R&D. I think they push things out too fast. The original V1 has taken so much more abuse. It doesn't stop there, but, and I'm just saying, like I said, if you are a Red Cat lover, this is not going to be the video for you. I feel like what I'm a little upset about, not necessarily the pile of paint that you see in front of you, not really the links that are right there in the background. What's more frustrating is that piece right there. That little piece of plastic is a horrible design. Come on, Kaiju. Living up to your name, not one pack here. All right, we've got a blink on... Ooh, we've got heat. Oh, this thing is on fire. Oh, and we got a piece of plastic in here.
Hey guy, I know.
What's this piece of plastic to?
I totally know you know what that is.
Yeah, this whole thing's on fire right now.
You see this pause right here is pause of disappointment.
So that means that we are possibly too big on the tires. And there was a piece of plastic floating around in the chassis. And I have no idea what this is to.
Yeah, you do, guy. Come on. Think way back. Original Red Cat Racing Kaiju.
I'm also not liking I'm seeing those wires do that chafe thing. If you're a lover of Red Cat Racing, then I want to say that this video is definitely not going to be for you, because right now, a little irritated. We're going to get into a couple of the things that irritate me about this platform. Some of the things are kind of okay because it's, I guess, out of Red Cat's control. But this one particular thing, which I feel you could call a fatal flaw, just doesn't make sense to me. There's a couple of things that don't make sense to me. So anyways, this is RC Guy Garage, so let's rip into it. So this is Red Cat's new offering. It's kind of it's a new offering, but it's really not new, because effectively this entire truck is only a stretched version of the original Kaiju. Now, it's said that there was a plastics formulation change. I don't know where people are seeing that. And even if I saw that, I'm not believing it myself. I do know that they did change the links. So, obviously, they did make the links a little bit stronger, which is great. But the metal pieces are breaking off. And, you know, you could just chalk that up to, you know, a bad run of metal. It does happen. Red Cat has admitted that they had a bad run of metal, and the metal that they were supposed to use wasn't used. Well, I feel like that was more of a damage control kind of thing. I don't believe it, because the original V1 had the same exact issue, except actually the plastic links themselves were snapping, and then to follow it up, then the metal links were snapping off exactly like this. So what did they do? Did they just use what they had in their parts bin just to get rid of stock? I don't know. Just to get the cars out? I don't know. I have no clue. Those are the things that, you know, people like us just don't know. And I'm not a metallurgist, so it's not like I've got, you know, a way to be able to test this metal. Let's get some light on me. If and when, that's better. If and when you saw the way that I handled getting out the piece of metal that was sunk beyond the plastic. You know, there's various different ways to attack that, but I decided to show you a soft metal way of being able to do that. So it was just a different way to show. But I was able to drill out a hole and tap a driver into it to be able to pull that link out. And it worked. And I knew it was going to work. It's just showing a different way. But back to the story. Plastic formulation change is what's been said. And I just don't know where they've done this plastic formulation change. Is it only in the movable parts? I suppose that's a possibility, like maybe the arms, maybe the links, maybe things are more flexible. It does seem like things are flexible, but I don't know, man. What I will say is where it counted, where they should have changed something, they didn't. So, yeah, I'm just going to show you. So all those paint chips that you saw were basically from the underside of the body. So everywhere that this vehicle, I guess, suffers an impact, other than the sides, where it suffers kind of like a, I want to say like a squish impact is what I think I'm feeling. They overshot this pearl paint that they have here, or silver paint, whatever it is, because this, what you're seeing here is this is a pearl. So I'm not sure what the process was of them doing that. Maybe what this is a coat of white with a backer of pearl, and maybe it kind of gave it just like that pearlesque look. But from what I'm seeing that's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing it was like a white dusting or a single coat of white and then a backer of silver. And then they backed the silver with this maybe like a protective layer of paint. But the problem is that this stuff is just peeling. And this is also where I had referenced in the video that I was going to use a product that I really don't like for exterior home usage. It's called Flex Seal. But the thing you need to realize is that on every paint manufacturer's everything, especially if it's going to be like a spray paint. Maybe, I don't know if it's on the Flex Seal can, and I'm not going to read it. You can read it yourself. On the Flex Seal can or on cans of paint, what it says is test in an inconspicuous place first before you go all out and destroy a body. So there was somebody out there that did that. I was told to go watch his video, and I chuckled a little bit only because, you know, it's like a learning lesson. Always paint, always test in an inconspicuous spot first where it doesn't really matter. You don't just go 100% and then just overlay a paint onto a paint, especially if you're seeing a flaking issue. So that means that this flaking issue, all of this needs to possibly be removed. You don't want to just spray over something that's not adhering. I see nothing but bad things because a lot of times new paint will reactivate old paint, and that's why you get sometimes a conflict. So as far as painting bodies goes, you always have to test in an inconspicuous spot if you're overlaying over a paint. It's a very commonly known thing in the automotive, well, I should say in the auto body industry. So it's something that I've learned working for a body shop. The body itself is faring really well. I did know, again, when I brought this out, unboxing it, that this was going to be the first thing that went, and that you would probably want to go ahead and somehow protect this from exactly what it's doing right now, because you can see that little black spot right there, that's a hole. So we've already got a hole. Yeah. We've already got a hole in the body. And that's kind of a bummer because it's going to look like hell. So that's a little bit of a negative, but you got to expect that. They went for a look. They weren't going for a longevity. This piece right here, this piece grinds on the top. It would have been great if they somehow extended this piece to fit on the entire roof, but that would have been more plastics. I guess maybe that's not what they were thinking. Because in order for you to refresh this truck, if you like this body, well, guess what you're going to do? You're going to buy a new body. And then you may figure out how to go ahead and fix this little, I called it a tail whip, but it's not a tail whip. It's more of like a roof whip. So that's number two. Number one was obviously the links, but we resolved that just by technically replacing it with older replacement uppers for the original Red Cat Kaiju. And they all fit because it's the same exact basic part, except for the fact that the new one has strengthening ribs on both the left and right side, and or you could call it gussets. You could either call it a gusset or you could call it a strengthening rib. I'll go with a strengthening rib. The major thing is this piece right here. I mean, as far as a plastics formulation change, I guess then maybe what it means is that it's from the links, or maybe the arms or something like that. But it's definitely not the chassis, because that piece right there, this piece right here, this is from the chassis. And why I'm calling this a fatal flaw, yeah, I'll show you where this piece came from, in case you don't already know. So here's the EXT. Might look like everything's mint. I think what I was confused about, and in the video, right? So when I picked up the piece of plastic and I'm holding it in my hand, I'm like, what the heck is this? I think because it was on the wrong side and I didn't see anything askew, things looked okay. I was thinking, what the heck is this piece? Where does this go? I kind of remembered where it went, but because I didn't see anything moved, I didn't think that it would be the same exact piece. So there you go. So you're looking at the battery straps, looks mint, things are holding there pretty good, and then all of a sudden you look and you go, what the hell? So the piece broke off right from there. So now there is no way, technically, no way to strap down the battery. Now, I don't mean there's no way. Like, obviously, there's always going to be a way to figure something out. But at what point is something like that acceptable? I mean, you pay the kind of money that you pay for these things, and such a very simple, easy thing snaps. Now, you might be thinking, Guy, the chassis is only like, you know, 10 to 15 bucks or whatever it is, depending upon where you get it. And I agree. The chassis is cheap, but you are throwing away an entire chassis. Like, where's the sense of that? You're throwing away an entire chassis because of a little stupid piece like this that they didn't revise. Now, I noticed that it looked the same, but it doesn't stop there. I want to show you something. So I'm gonna pop this little strap out just so I can show you, because upon a more in-depth visual inspection, check this out. The other side broke too. And where I'm saying that that's a carryover from the original V1, well, let me show you something. Here's the original Kaiju. All right. And I think I showed this. At least I hope I did. What do you see right there? Isn't that funny? It's in the same exact location where it broke off before. But that doesn't stop there. See how this strap is wrapped around here? Well, do you wonder why? Now you don't. Oh. Wow. You mean it broke? Both sides? Now the back hasn't let go yet, and I haven't really inspected it, and I actually don't want to inspect it. But right now, with a vehicle that I have only driven a handful of times, I've already got a broken chassis, and now I've got to waste time trying to figure out how I'm going to fix it this time. This time I feel like I'm going to do something a little bit different. If you look at this and you look close, you can see there's a crack in the plastic. Well, the crack in this plastic right here on this piece, that's existing. And it hasn't gone any further. And when you see what this thing has been through, when you see what the original V1 has been through versus what the V2, the EXT or extended version of the Kaiju has been through, the original V1 has taken so much more abuse. It doesn't stop there, but, and I'm just saying, like I said, if you are a Red Cat lover, this is not going to be the video for you. And do you want to take your money and spend your hard-earned money or gift money, whatever the heck it is? Do you want to spend your rent? Do you want to spend your car payment on a vehicle that literally within that month is going to fail? And you're going to be sitting there with a vehicle that now needs more extra parts. Now, the links are different. The body, I don't like the fact that it's doing that. And whatever protective paint that they stuck on there, the fact that it could have a bad reaction, I don't know. They did a couple of things, okay? But I feel like they didn't. As far as a formulation of plastic change, or as far as a formulation change for the plastics, they definitely didn't do anything about the chassis, which was major. And I mean, you think about it. If people are breaking chassis like literally every 5th pack, and the reason why I say 5th pack is because you start to get comfortable with the car, you start pushing it more, you start wanting to do other things. First couple of packs, you might just take it out there and just get an idea, get a feel for the vehicle. And if someone says it's because I'm a horrible driver, I'll agree with you. Yeah, I'm a horrible driver, but really, do you think that that should have broken? I don't. I've got other cars where parts haven't broken, and I have cars where parts have broken. But I think because this battery tray is designed the way it is, it's just a shame that it's literally the entire chassis that basically becomes a problem. Now, this one, when I worked on the original V1, I didn't like the fact that I was going to have to take apart that piece right there. So if you follow the line of where the battery strap is, or where it's supposed to go, I can show you with this. All right. So basically, that's the strap width. So what you would have to do is effectively put a notch. You'd have to put a notch or a slice inside the piece here, or you'll have to slice it here. Now, maybe it's not really a bad deal, because how many times does this section of the chassis get hit? Few, if like never. I mean, you can see I've gotten a couple of whacks back here, but I think because of the design of the truck, because it has this belly section, I think with the design of the truck, it might not be an issue. So, but I didn't go that route with this truck because I felt like it was really foolish. Because in order to like mess around with that strap, I guess I was thinking like this whole chassis piece would have to come off, and you'd have to, I don't know. Sometimes you look at things in a different way, and I felt that the way I did that was going to maybe just be an easier fix. Maybe I should have slotted the tub or the chassis. I don't know. But I think I'm done showing stuff on this. The motor mount. Yeah, that's another thing. The motor mount was an issue. This little pinion cover fits tighter than this one does. The redesign, you can see a gap. See that gap? There is a gap right here, and it's pretty big. Of course, the pick won't go into it, but I think I can slide a strap into it. Yeah, of course it's going to make me a liar. I'll use the parts card thing. That's way too much of a gap for me. So I understand why they're putting the netting on. Reason why I didn't put the netting or use the netting on this truck, it didn't have a fan, so there was no worry. It's just it was a pain in the neck. And I was just like, I don't really see why it would need a net. And I want to say, in a sense, it really didn't need the net. But this truck, with that hole and the redesign of this little cover piece, something's up with that. You can see it's not exactly the same. It is different. They changed, obviously, the motor mount, because you can see while this is a motor mount, this is like a two-piece funky setup of a motor mount. This is a single piece with a like a cam. So it has a cam that attaches to the motor, which you can rotate, and you can kind of adjust mesh. I think what I don't like about the motor mount is the fact that with this motor mount, you don't really have many gear options. What you would have to do is get a lower KV motor with less spin, more torque. So say something like maybe like a 1900 kV motor is my guess, is something that might fit. It does have room. There is slot room underneath. So maybe if a 1900 kV can is a little bit bigger for more torque, I'm not sure. I think the original motor, which is a, what is it, a 2100 or something like that? I think these are both 2100s. I can't see that motor. And that was the other thing, because everything was so tight, there was heat transfer between the motor and the ESC, so this was like a hot spot. Now they've got plenty of room. They've got like 2 inches of room, or just under 2 inches of room, which is great. But, yeah, that net, where's the net? So the other issue is the net. So without a fan cover, your fan is going to eat the net. And if your fan eats the net, then what's the point of the net? Like, stuff is just going to get in there. The net's going to get sucked into the fan. And it's funny because I didn't initially run with the net, and this is how it goes. I don't like the nets. The nets are designed to keep stuff out. I get it. I do get it. There are drawbacks, and so there's negatives and positives. The negative for me was number one, dealing with the net. I'm a go, go, go kind of person. I just literally want to rip a pack into it and, you know, rip the life out of the pack, rip it out, and rip in another pack. When you're dealing with a net, that's not going to happen. Do you suffer the consequences with all the crap getting into the chassis tub? And now, because that there's a bigger gap between, I don't know, man, the tolerances just aren't good. And, you know, can the dirt get into this little section right here? I just don't know, man. I know that I've taken this motor mount out and there was sand underneath the motor mount. And when you're dealing with a plastic chassis, you got to expect, just like the Big Rock and that little module thing, I don't know anybody that can pull that module out without using like a hammer or a screwdriver. I want to see, like, and I say Jason just because Jason supposedly owns Arrma or whatever the heck it is, right? But I want to see Jason. I want to see him pop one of these modules out after it's been driven. Like, after it's had like 4 battery packs or 3 battery packs through it. I want to see Jason take that motor mount, or not motor mount. I want to see him take that module out with ease. It doesn't happen. Not that this doesn't happen that way. This is just 3 screws. I do appreciate that, but what I don't appreciate is the way this is just designed. I don't know. I don't really see any big pinion changes happening. We are dealing with Mod 1, so you can probably change up a couple of teeth. But you're going to have to change, in my opinion, you're going to have to go down in KV. Because I think the KV motor that's in it right now is probably pushing it. Maybe what is needed is a bigger cooling fan. And that's what Game Changer RC comes into play. So I use primarily Game Changer RC fans unless the vehicle came with a fan. If the fan is not adequate, I'll switch over to a Game Changer. Prices are reasonable. He puts everything together, and it seems like he's the kind of person that cares about after service, which is big. So that's a little plug for you, Game Changer RC, because not because you asked for it, because I just felt like saying it. So I like your products, and they work. And this is patent pending here, so I don't want to see anybody throwing microphone toppers on their fans, because I'll sue. But you can see I put a Game Changer fan cover on here, and that was to stop this from, you know, getting destroyed. I don't think I'm going to show the repair on this. What I'll do is I'll show the after repair. So basically, this is just a video of me effectively complaining, and it's been, I don't even know how long this has been going for. This is going to be a complaint video, a 20-minute, I guess, complaint video. And what I want to say is, you don't have to. If you're a content creator, yeah, obviously go buy every RC when it first comes out. But I feel like this channel, what it's trying to do is, it does showcase the vehicle, but it will also show you point blank the issues. And it's only based upon what I think, what I see, what I smell, and what I feel. So I do like Red Cat for their crawlers, even though I'm not a crawler guy, but I have a couple of them. I got 2 of their crawlers, which I don't crawl. I don't even know why I have crawlers. I never even drove that stinking thing. The thing never even had a battery pack through it, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. The Gen 7 basically got me back into the hobby. The Tornado was a fun little car that I learned things from. Right there, that's the Red Cat Racing Tornado. It's drag bug. So in case you didn't know, that's a Red Cat. A 2-wheel drive drag bug. My son's got a Tornado. I bought my son. Now he's got a Big Rock. A little bit different because of his driving style. But this Kaiju, I'm seeing that it's a happy vehicle on 6S. It appears as though it needs 6S more than the original Kaiju. The original Kaiju is very happy on 4S. You'll get a lot of what's called drivability out of it. Can it take 6S? Yeah. But it turns it into an absolute trick monster that not everybody appreciates. Oh, the other thing. The belted tires that were on that. No, not for me. My type of driving, that specific type of belted tire, absolutely not. Yeah, I knew those weren't going to last. And I'll tell you right now, they're going to rip off. If what I was seeing, if you do not change that center diff, if you do not even change the front diff fluid, you are going to tear a tire off. I don't care if it blows out. I don't care if it rips from the glue. Whatever's going to happen, those belted tires are going to rip off. And the reason why I'm saying that is what happens is the part of the camera angle that you couldn't see was the truck picking up on the on the right front side. That wheel was lifting up. The whole car is doing a torque lift. Now, when you saw it on road, you started to see that left tire coming up. And once it was coming up, it was 2 things happening. You had wind resistance from the new design body, keeping that front end kind of down, but the front end was being picked up because of tire ballooning. So, and that was on the other tires. But if you saw what the other tires were doing, again, tire angle or whatever it is, camera angle, you couldn't see that that right front tire was picking up off of the ground. The thing was getting torqued. So I've got a real good picture of the original Red Cat Racing Kaiju V1 where it shows the entire truck. Like totally like, it looks like I photoshopped it. And I think I even said like on the picture, guy, that thing is torqued. That whole truck is like just out of shape. Like it looks like a Funhouse funny mirror. You know, those wavy mirrors? That's what it looks like. But that's a picture or a video picture. So maybe there's a little skewing going on. I don't know, but it's not photoshopped. It's real. Yeah, so this video is literally just me complaining about certain things. So if you're hesitant, stay hesitant unless you want to fix it. Right now, Red Cat is fixing the links. That's great. But guess what? Red Cat isn't doing anything about the chassis. They're not doing anything about the battery straps ripping off. You're going to have to. There's definitely ways to go ahead and fix that. This modification that I'm going to be doing to this truck is going to be different than what I did with the other one. I want larger battery capacity for this truck. Do I eventually think that this truck is going to be good? It should be. It really should be. And I'm only basing that on the Kaiju V1. So this video basically, probably for most people, this is kind of a waste of time. But I'm going to put the information out there anyway. There are flaws in this truck. It's like when you buy a brand new vehicle. If at all possible, try not to buy the first year run. And I mean, some people, it could be a unicorn. You could get like an amazing vehicle, but it appears like for a lot of things, we're the testers. And I don't mean me. I mean everybody, you guys. We're kind of all the R&D. I think they push things out too fast. They definitely should have figured out something with this chassis and those battery straps. Because as of right now, if you weren't the type of person that was creative and wanted to figure out how to waste your time, you know, figuring out a new battery holder or whatever, you're buying another chassis. And I don't know anybody that wants to keep doing that. Because that literally means if this one broke, the next one's going to break, the next one's going to break. They're going to possibly break even quicker because you're going to get more aggressive with the vehicle. And I don't care what anybody says, no one out there is a perfect driver. I don't care if you drive NASCAR, drag racing, anything. There are too many elements, too many things that happen that make it so that you cannot be that hero driver. So anyways, this is RC Guy Garage. Bad news, but it is what it is. So I'm out ripping it. I'm going to rip the Kaiju today again. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to rip it. But I think I'm going to rip the Kraton. I think I'm going to take out the Kraton 6S for a rip. Haven't ripped that thing yet.